Maybe I should make this dish angry. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my bubble. My name is Katie. We are just starting in the garden this morning to kind of pick what we need. We are going to end up in the kitchen. I want to make some pumpkin leaf wraps. And so we are out here to pick some ingredients to go in them. Kevin has joined us this morning, of course. He loves to help out in the garden. Then I have a very small head of cabbage that it's just gotten too hot here for it to do anything else. And we're going to incorporate that too before the cabbage moths and other various insects get to it and eat it, which I'm going to show you those on a broccoli that I have left just to see what would happen with the bugs. Something else I want to show you guys is I'm really excited. Our tomatoes are coming in great. And that makes me so happy. I'm craving a fresh tomato like nobody's business. So here in central Kentucky, it is around, it was around 78 degrees, but we are at 90% humidity today. So it's not too bad out, but it is sticky. Like I'm getting hot because it's so moist. Kevin, leave the camera alone. No, Kevin. I left this big broccoli here even though I knew that I would not get a head of broccoli off of it. It is just too hot here. Broccoli is more of a colder weather plant, but I just wanted to see how it would react because actually until a week ago it looked really good. But I want you all to see what has happened in a week. This is just unbelievable. I normally do not leave them this long. For one, it stinks. It smells bad. And I don't know if it's because of all the insect poo and just the general smell of broccoli. It does have a smell, but it has attracted, let's see if I can get them to focus. That is a fire bug, or cabbage bug, some people call them. This is a cabbage moth. And I know it's hard to see. There, cabbage moth. So wasps like to eat these. I have seen a wasp cut one in half, take it back to its nest, and then come back and get the other half. Ugh. So, and then these little critters on here. Let's see if I can grab one of them. Ugh, they're everywhere. There we go. This is an invasive species. Well, it's not focusing for me very well. There we go. They are all over the head of this broccoli. I just can't believe how much all these bugs have eaten this. Ugh, and it just smells wretched. So I need to get that out of here. I had to look it up. This is the larva of a zebra arches moth. Yes, they are considered an invasive species. Ew. So this plant needs to go. I mainly left it just so you guys could see. We just get a tremendous amount of things that eat, and all these things eat cabbage and cauliflower, any of your cruciferous vegetables. They love them. So this is another reason I just don't do well. We don't do well here in Kentucky with broccoli and cabbage and stuff in the summer. It just gets too hot and the critters are just vicious. Look at that. There is 3 right together. Ugh. And then all the green specks, that's poop. It's disgusting. So I wanted to show you guys that the tomatoes are coming on nicely. I said in one of my earlier videos, I do mainly grow smaller tomatoes because they fit in my food mill really well. Now, these tomatoes are Campari tomatoes, and they came from a package of tomatoes I got from our local grocery store. My husband loves them. They're the perfect size, so I planted a bunch of them, and they just look lovely on the vine. I've never grown these, so they're doing quite well. And then something I'm really excited about, small for now, but these will get huge. These are the German stripey. It's a yellow and red tomato that gets great big. And then my sweet pea. I didn't plant sweet pea in the best spot, I guess, but I didn't realize the marigold would take over this corner. Oh, there we go. These tomatoes will not get any bigger than this. Maybe a little bit. I am just waiting on them to turn red. So I was really excited about this plant. Kevin's excited as well, apparently. Kevin. And then we got blooms on lots of others. So this is the first pumpkin plant that popped up. It actually popped up in a compost bed. Like I've said in other videos, I'm not the best composter, but it does work out to my favor. So, and we have a small pumpkin. Isn't it sweet? Oh, so excited. We do eat a lot of pumpkin as far as my dog is allergic to everything. And I have to make her food. And pumpkin is something that she can eat. So I actually do gather the pumpkins and can them. So I'm going to cut some of the pumpkin leaves so that we can cook with them. And I'm really excited for this. We had a lot of pumpkins pop up, so this is just perfect. And one thing I have noticed, which I'll show you, is we have critter eggs on some of the leaves. And I am wearing a glove because just in case you don't grow or can't grow pumpkins, the stem is covered in little thorns, sort that were hairs. I'm not really for sure what to call them, but they're very sharp and they hurt. So I'm going to wear a glove. Kevin. I'm going to see if I can, if you can see right here. Those are eggs of a stink bug. And stink bug is rightfully named. If you smush it, they stink really bad. And they actually excrete like some smell if you grab one to throw it outside if it's in your house. But all we're going to do, we can just scratch these off. Some people light them with a lighter and they'll pop. But we can just scratch them off. They're fine. And you can just smush them between your fingers. No big deal. I'm about to squish me a Kevin. Kevin. Oh my. I didn't even notice. They're all on the back as well. You know what? I don't think we're going to use this leaf. We're just going to crush these. Ew. Because there's another one with some on it. We're going to get those too. Right up here, there's a pumpkin. Kevin. Kevin is just cantankerous today. So we have another pumpkin down here as well. Very nice. The bees are not happy with me. There's our tiny head of cabbage. It's okay. We'll still use it. Oh well, food's food. I almost forgot. Couldn't wait to show you guys. I have a tiny watermelon. So exciting! Then there's another one. So exciting. And look, just a beautiful little flower on these. So wonderful. So now we're going to head back up to the kitchen and we're going to start making our wraps. So excited. So now we're back inside. So we'll go on and start making our wraps. These wraps can be filled with anything you want. This is just what I choose to put in them. And we do try to eat a fairly higher protein. So this is a hamburger mixture that I really like. I have a pound of hamburger, and we're going to do a couple of slices of chopped onion and some chopped sweet potato, and then we're going to cook it all in the skillet. Oh, and something else. My lilies are blooming. This is the white lily. I have a few other lilies growing as well, which I'll show you pictures of them. My favorite is the stargazer lily. That's what I had when my husband and I got married, all through my bouquet. And I love lilies so much that I named my daughter Lillian. So there you go. So we have several lilies around the property, and they are starting to bloom. So I just love that. But the first thing we're going to do is we are going to peel our potatoes. Maybe I should have said fling potato peel all over the place. Well, let's see. I do have one of these chopper deals. Let's see how this does. Sweet potatoes are just so tough anyway. Maybe I should make this dish angry. This is kind of fun. I had one of these before, but it's been a while, and I had taken it to my job at the health food store because I ran the kitchen. And one thing I made there constantly was egg salad. And I'll tell you what, one of these was great for having to cut up all those eggs. I cooked and peeled around sometimes close to 30 eggs, depending on the day. So I made egg salad and deviled eggs. So that was a lot of eggs to cook and peel. Great. That looks great. Oh, we're going to do a couple slices of onion. And I'll tell you what, this hamburger, it really gets all of its flavor from the onion, and the sweet potato actually makes it a little sweet. I don't really add any other spices besides salt and pepper. I'm going to do one more. You know what? We'll cut up all this. This is about one whole onion. Why not? I like leftovers anyway for lunches later. Now, the cabbage, I'm not going to put it through the chopper. I think I'm just going to cut it up so it's longer pieces, not chop it. I don't necessarily normally put in cabbage. This is just kind of a bonus. And like I said in the garden, this little head needs to be eaten before something else eats it. Bugs are just vicious. Little piece of corn there. Get that out. And we're just going to give it a rough, yeah, see? Oh, I want it like that. Just long, thin pieces. We're going to get our meat started on the stove. We are starting with a pound of hamburger. And we're going to break it up and let it brown thoroughly. You want to continuously chop up the hamburger and flip it around while it's browning. And then we're going to drain off the grease, but we don't want to get rid of the grease. We want to save it because we are going to use it in just a few minutes. Now that our hamburger is finished, we are going to add in our sweet potatoes and onions and stir them around. Then we're going to add in about a teaspoon of salt and as much pepper as you would like. We're going to give it another good stir. And then we will turn the heat down to low and cover our pot and let it sit while our vegetables soften. So now we've got our hamburger and our sweet potato and our onion cooking with about a teaspoon of salt and as much pepper as you desire. The pan has been covered so that we can let the veggies steam and soften and take on the flavor of the hamburger. Oh, I am holding off on adding the cabbage for just a few minutes. Going to let the sweet potatoes get a head start because they take a little bit longer to soften up. And I like for my cabbage to still be a little crunchy. So we're just going to move it to a plate for right now. And then we have to take the strings out of the pumpkin leaves. That way they're not quite as fibrous. Let's see. We're going to do that now. Like I said, they are very sharp. Here we go. See all those? Those are very sharp. And we're going to kind of get rid of those. So when we have to blanch our pumpkin leaf, and we're not going to really need the stem, but we do need the stem right now to get the veins out. I will need to stir our hamburger every now and then. So I am going to cut this one down a little bit. Let's see if I can. See? Makes it a little easier to chew up and probably to digest. But that's just my opinion. I'll try to get them all. Okay, obviously this is going to take a few minutes. So we'll speed this process up a little bit. One thing I do want to talk about is how nutritious pumpkin leaves are for you, of course. Pumpkin leaves have vitamin A, C, and B in them. They are high in fiber and phosphorus. They also have a decent amount of calcium. So the calcium and phosphorus help with your bones, which is excellent. And then the iron helps with your blood and keeping it healthy and clean. Checking our hamburger again real quick. I gave it a stir just a minute ago. Oh yeah. So our sweet potatoes have started to soften up, which is excellent. We're going to go on and throw our cabbage in and stir it around. And something else we're going to do is we're going to turn our heat down to low because we want all of this to just kind of sit and soften for a little bit. Now, another thing we're going to do, because we've added all of these extra vegetables, but I am actually going to pour some of the fat back in here. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. It's up to you. You don't necessarily have to drain it off like I did. This is farm-raised beef, so I do not have a whole lot of fat going on. That's why I poured it off, because I wanted to add it on top of our cabbage to help soften it even more. Oh, it smells wonderful. Okay. Heat's turned down to low, and we are going to let this sit. Now, we're going to continue getting the strings out of our leaves. So I'm only letting the hamburger sit a few more minutes on, and then we are going to remove it from the heat while we blanch our leaves a little bit. Just so the meat is just not so hard to work with. It's not so hot. It's got time to cool down a little bit and rest. Now we're going to move our meat off the heat, and we're going to get a pan of water so that we can blanch our leaves a little bit to soften them so they're easier to roll up. And we're going to clean up our mess a little bit. So our water's starting to heat up quite a bit. We're going to go on and drop some leaves in it. And we're going to cook these for a few minutes till they get nice and soft. Now, you can steam the leaves as well. Actually, that would probably be a better way to cook them, but I do not have a steamer right now. That's just, I don't steam a lot of stuff. So this works just as well. We just need the leaves to get nice and soft. And then though we are blanching, we're not putting the leaves in an ice water bath because we're not trying to preserve them. So that took around 10 minutes to blanch our leaves, and that has given our meat and veggies time to cool a little bit to be able to be handled a little better. Now, what you need to do at this point with your meat and veggies is you need to give it a taste, and you need to make sure that you don't want to add any more salt or pepper or anything to it. I did give this a taste. Excellent. Tastes like what I'm used to it tasting like. But now we're going to put it in some of our pumpkin leaves. We do want bottom side up of our leaf. The little sharp stickers, thorns, I'm not really sure what to call them. I might have to look that up. I'm sure they have a name. but they're not as sharp now. So we're all good. They have cooked. I'm going to get a spoon. Yeah. Now, pumpkin leaves can also be used like cooked spinach. If you wanted to like grind them up and cook them however you would cook spinach, or even like collard greens, which are really good cooked in bacon grease. Okay. So now, let's see if I can do this. We fold in our bottom ends first. Give it a tuck. We fold it in again. And then we roll, which nice. Look, that looks great. Okay, we are busting open a little. Our leaf had a little hole in it. So now we're going to do this a whole bunch. Now, if you're still with me, which I hope you are, and I hope you have enjoyed what you have seen, and I hope you have maybe learned something or gotten a new idea, or I hope I've inspired you in some way, because that is the point. And I'll tell you what, if you like what you've seen so far, I would super appreciate if you would hit the subscribe button if you want to see more of me, and maybe the like button. Because hopefully you've liked what you've seen if you're still with me. And then if you would love to leave me a comment, I check my YouTube every morning, sometimes in the evening. I am new at this, so it's very exciting when I get a message or something. I would love to hear from you. Now, I have put all of these in a dish because my husband isn't going to be home until later this evening, and that's when we will eat dinner. So I will actually reheat these. And the deal is normally you would eat it just as is, like right now. We don't want our pumpkin leaves to get dried out. So what we're going to do is we are actually going to put in a moist paper towel in here, and then we're going to cover it with foil. And so when we go to cook it in the oven or reheat it, we are going to set it very low setting. We're going to set it about 200 degrees, and it's gonna heat for about 10-15 minutes, just until they are, warm in the middle. And then they're ready to go, because everything's all cooked, and you don't want to necessarily cook the pumpkin leaf because you've already blanched it, and we don't want them to get dried out. So that was a lot. We're going to roll this one up. I have a feeling this is going to be messy. Like I said, the hamburger mixture is something I actually make quite frequently. I really, really like it. It's great for lunches and stuff, and it doesn't need a whole lot of extra seasoning because the onions and the sweet potato give you all of your flavor. So it's good. It's the pumpkin leaf is, you can still feel the little spikes on the leaves. It's a different mouthfeel, definitely, but I think this is really cool. It's good. Maybe a little hot sauce. So, of course, I want to thank everyone for joining me today. And I hope you all are able to cook up your pumpkin leaves and make wraps. And I just thought this was a great idea. I hope you give this a try, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.